So, will it be okay if I reintroduce myself? Okay lang ba? So you can get to know me. Thank you. So my invitation before I introduce myself, if you have your questions already, you can type them down already to the group chat. And if you're watching from the live, you can write down in the comment section below your question so we can answer that later on. Okay. So yeah, so just so you can get to know me better, I'm actually a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a life and wealth coach, and I also have my own traditional business and also a home-based employee for a consulting company. And I also have my own consultation side rackets. Meron ba dito yung mga may racket like me? Yung mga ganyan. Yan. Thank you. So yung mga sumaside hustle, that's me. Marami po ako niyan. Personally, this lockdown made me save actually a lot in terms of money and time because lahat nandito lang sa bahay ang trabaho, kaya namang gawin. Although, like I said, I have my traditional business and I also do some consultation in terms of nag-interior styling po ako, no? So yung mga clients ko, na-delay. And my projects got delayed. Isa po ako sa mga affected din yan. And also, yung traditional business ko until now, still not operational. So, pati yun, medyo affected tayo dyan. So, basically, that's the story of my career, this GCQ. But other than that, my other side hustles or my full-time work like this is still manageable kahit online. So I'm very, very thankful for the digital world, for Zoom, and for an internet connection that is always cooperating with me. So ayun. So I guess I want to call on my co-facilitator Jasmine. Jasmine, are you here?
Hello everyone.
Good afternoon. Video mo hindi gumagalaw, girl. Ayan. So to introduce herself and to tell you more of what this segment is actually about and this community is about, let's all welcome Miss Jasmine Curtis Smith. Go ahead, Jasmine.
Hi everyone. I hope my video is working now and my mic. Wala pa rin? No? No? Wait lang.
Video wala pa. Ayan, on-off.
On-off natin siya. Sorry for this technical difficulty.
No lang. Thank you for being here.
Working now. Maybe let's turn over to Coach Russ first while I fix it para I have enough time. Pressure.
Yeah, our speaker, I won't introduce him anymore kasi medyo in demand siya in this ichikahan, no? So, based on feedbacks that I got, they really love learning from Coach Russ. Kaya ayan na po, binabalik ko po. Ayan, ang dami nag-a-agree sa mga naka-video. Yeah, ibabalik ko siya sa inyo ngayon. Let's welcome Coach Russ.
Thank you, Yani. Thank you for having me here again. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. The truth is, it's a Sunday afternoon. It could have been rest night, rest afternoon. It could have been family time. It could have been, anything that you want to do because Sunday is supposed to be lazy. But I still honor and thank you guys for, again, choosing to be here. I'll guarantee you the moment you start really getting the things that you want to learn this afternoon, you can be effective in whatever you do, whether it's business, it's professional, and just to share with you a lot of things that's going on for me, especially being able to be aware on how I can take care of my emotions, especially this moment of time, the pandemic, whatever's going on around the world. It's such a beautiful place to be, that being able to just see how you can expand and grow yourself, understanding and knowing all of this. I'm not saying that I have a perfect life. Okay, I have a lot of things that I want to expand and grow myself with. The imperfection becomes perfect with the way I handle it, with the way I start to be aware of how I can create this better life. Perhaps being able to share this to the entire community of people wanting to expand and grow whatever they want to expand and grow with themselves. So again, thank you so much. No? So I did not prepare anything, just like any of the things that I, whenever I'm asked to talk, most important part here is maybe I'd like you guys to start writing or typing what will serve you best. We will be here in the next 2 hours. Okay, so make sure hyperactive in terms of typing your expectation, please let us know, because I don't want to talk anything that is not important, that is not relevant to you. I just want to open my mouth and share things that are important to you. So the most important part here is make sure that you want to be served by letting us know what's important to you. So even my kitty cat here, Tomaso, is excited to hear your expectation, because that is where we will start all our discussions. So thank you so much, Yani, for having me here.
Thank you, Coach Russ. Jasmine left for a while. Babalik daw po siya. Let me check kung nandito na siya, no? Thank you, Coach Russ, for that. And, okay, Jasmine, go ahead. You're here. Welcome back.
Hello. Okay, great. I hope my video is now working and my audio too. I'm so sorry, guys. Thank you for the patience. Thank you, Coach, for backing me up there. Teamwork tayo dyan. Okay, so first of all, I'm Jasmine Curtis Smith. I work in the entertainment industry. I have recently ventured into the music industry, managing singers like Bea Lorenzo and also the band Flu, which, by the way, walang kinalaman yung pangalan ng banda nila sa nangyayari ngayon. They were launched way before this whole thing. It's all a big coincidence. But I have been working here in the Philippines and in this industry since the year 2010, I think. So right before I graduated high school. And so anyway, my work, syempre, it's been obvious naman, hindi kami pwedeng mag-production filming or shooting or taping ngayon because it's considered as mass gathering. So that's considered as a live event din kasi somewhat eh. So affected din yung mga events ng mga brands that we also are endorsing or also engaging with at the moment. But other than that, for my performers naman, the singers or the band that I manage, who are also just beginning in the industry and trying to build a name and also build their kumbaga, their portfolio or ano ba, CV, kung in more business terms tayo. Sila then they can't do regular gigs or can't go out there to entertain you guys, or even now it's a bit spread out, but at least there have been things that have allowed them to kind of reach you guys from your home and from their home too. So that's been a great kind of evolution for that industry, which I'm very thankful for. Anyway, so we came together for this, I guess, chapter 2 of what we started, I think, a month ago. And we wanted to do a follow-up from our first one, which was how to cope with anxiety, stress, and fear, I believe. And we wanted to do a second one that was more about managing the different types. Like, of course, involved pa rin yung mga first types of emotions that we discussed previously, diba? But we wanted to kind of just have a safe space, so to speak, so that all these different types of emotions, whether it's also you're excited because now you're able to work, if ever your company is back to work and you're able to be out there again and be able to earn for your family and make sure that you have some earnings for yourself, diba? How can you share this feeling if the rest of the world is still kind of trying to find ways how to cope? How do you manage this emotion, but at the same time still express empathy to those around you? So we wanted to do that because there are a lot of different things evolving and also changing constantly, and we have to kind of be the ones to keep up with it. Tayo yung maghahanap ng source kung ano ba talaga yung totoong paniniwalaan natin or tayo magbabacktrack sa kumpanya natin, in our industry, kung ano talaga yung mga pwede at bawal. So these are the things na we want to be able to comfort you with, or at least provide some type of guidance. Para naman may starting point kayo, if ever yun nga, hindi kayo sure how to get back to that feeling of like, I'm supposed to be happy, I'm earning, or I'm supposed to be feeling good na I can support myself again and my family, and maybe in turn, kung medyo guminhawa man yung savings natin, di ba, baka we can help more people also. Or even just tricycle driver down the street na lagi mong sinasakyan na yung tricycle niya. Yung mga ganong klaseng simpleng bagay. So, kung kayo din, we'll invite some of you. We have a few speakers today also that we've invited, and we'll invite you guys to please send in your questions so that we can also discuss it on a bigger scale here with our Coach Russ and also Coach Yani, para we are able to kind of parang himayin natin yan, and be, yun nga, like someone said, to learn more about mental health then and personal development, especially in these times when sometimes yung mga ganyang bagay doesn't seem so, I guess, timely for some people, and you feel like for you timely. So, yun lang naman. That's why we wanted to do this chapter 2, and that's why I'm so happy that Coach Yani said yes, and we have Coach Russ again. Like, Coach, di ka namin afford to do this siguro on a regular non-quarantine moment, but thank you. Baka sigurado, I'm sure, pagka medyo nag-blossom to, or baka magbunga pa to in the future, malay mo, di ba, makapag-tour pa tayo sa schools or even companies. So, malay mo, I don't know, I'm just putting it out there. Yung mga
Yeah, why not, right?
other companies want to invite us. So, anyway, that's it for me. What do we want to start with? Should I begin, or Coach Yan?
Sure, you can start reading their expectations if you want.
Okay, sure. So we have a few. I mentioned a few here now, which was expecting to learn about personal development, to learn more about mental health, and then there's also learning how to balance different emotions that we feel in these trying times. Definitely, and expressing those feelings properly and at the right time. Okay. So I think for the personal development and mental health, I wouldn't suggest na ako yung mag-speak on that. But I guess in those aspects, what exactly about personal development would you guys want to learn, or do you guys want to tackle? Maybe I'm sure Coach Russ or Coach Yani might be able to shed a good certain, specific type of info for you guys kung merong mang hinahanap na sagot. But for mental health, I guess, okay, we can do this because some people are not sure what mental health is. What is mental health? Coach Russ, you want to begin? Because at least you have some professional background.
Okay, thank you, Coach Jasmine.
Wait lang.
The way you handle questions, you're really like a professional coach. No, you don't just give answers right away. In fact, you're asking and going deeper. So you're not telling people, but you're really asking what's important for them. And I'm excited for you to jump into your coaching certification or whatever your journey is. And yeah, if the question here is, again, let me clear. No, I don't have any professional background about being a psychologist, psychotherapist, and all of this. I'm a life coach. Until now, I'm still learning more about myself, learning a lot of emotion, and being able to practice with myself and being able to help myself. And perhaps I'm able to help a lot of people because of the practice I have. So I'm not professional, but I am a practitioner, that I would say. So whatever concept I'll be sharing with you, I just learned this from YouTube, from books, from mentors, from attending seminars. No, in fact, Jasmine, if I may share with you, I was diagnosed with AIDS 20 years ago. Okay, that allowed me to have the most beautiful life ever up until now. I'm still, proud of being diagnosed with AIDS, and it's called acquired intelligence due to seminars. No? So that's what AIDS is all about. No? And basically, mental health for me really is understanding the most important part. The reason why people don't have such a healthy mental state or healthy emotional state, it's because a lot of people have lack of, the word really here is awareness. So when I say awareness, it's being able to just live life that I know what's going on versus live life reacting and reacting and reacting. Okay, and based on working with people for the past 15 years professionally all over the world. Okay, 95% of people, they are actually living their life sleeping. Why do I say living their life sleeping? Because everything that's going on in their life, okay, as if they're just a cycle of just on and off. And people are drowning with whatever's going on with them because they just react to whatever is going on outside, external, which means there's a lack of awareness that it's actually internal. So I would like to start with that now, and connecting the mental health with the emotional health. The biggest trouble with humanity right now is people cannot even identify how they feel. They don't even understand what they're feeling. Okay? Because again, emotions were never taught in schools. Emotions were never discussed maybe in our church. It was never taught at home. Okay, the only emotion that we all hear is be strong, umayos ka, wag kang umiyak. Okay, and I think we were never taught how to feel, but the training we had growing up was actually be numb. Ibig sabihin, mask how you feel, pretend you're okay, and I think that's where all the troubles comes in. So again, the first step maybe is people don't know how to identify emotions. Now, how do we know? How do you feel? The common answer is I'm okay. Excuse me, okay is not an emotion, right? So again, they don't even know what is sadness, what is anger, what is guilt, what is shame. Okay? And I think that's the biggest trouble right now with humanity. We don't know how to identify our own feelings. And number two, we don't know why we feel what we feel. Okay? And I guess that's very important because when we know why we feel how we feel, we can work on it, okay, without denying the emotion. Because the third most important part here is this emotion will greatly affect you personally and the people around you in everything that you do in your life. It will affect your health. It will affect your relationship. It will affect your money making. It will affect anything and everything because again, that's why it's called emotion because it's energy in motion. Okay, this will actually bring you to a certain level of action or inaction because of the emotion that you keep. And for me, mental health is being able to be aware, okay, of my internal conversation. We call this the little voice or the big voice has been speaking to us. Okay, and the moment we hear this little voice or big voice, it will actually come into our emotion, and it will actually drive our action. So every emotion comes from a thought. Okay, and thought becomes emotion, emotion becomes action, action becomes result. And I think that's the whole set of understanding the level of success I will create in my life or the level of happiness I will create in my life will all depend on the mental input that I have that turns out to be emotional and that turns out to be my action that becomes my behavior, then my behavior becomes my personality becomes my result. And I think that's the whole um, my personal understanding of how we create happiness or success. Go ahead.
Coach, and would you say after you get the result, kasi it becomes a cycle, syempre you get a result, you get also kind of provoked by an emotion after that result, whether it's a result you like, na ayaw mo rin, or kumbaga napikon ka ba, or natuwa ka, na, or are you feeling satisfied? Kasi that becomes another thought again. And then after that thought, you process it into an emotion again. And then what do you do with that emotion na parang nasad ka? Kasi parang, ay, hindi pala sila natuwa. So ngayon, I'm sad. Tapos, ngayon yung sadness mo na yun, you'll put it into action. And then, either magmumukmuk ka, or makikipag-chismis ka, or, I don't know, makikipag-away ka, or all these things. And then, may bago ka na namang result. So, and then, does it become a behavior or a habit or a type of thing that you think becomes your personality also and your being?
So let me share with you, no, because let's take a look at external condition and internal condition. Okay, so what tends to happen here is we all say the level of awareness that we as human being must know that every moment of our life, whatever is going on external, I would always say it's only 1% and 99% is internal. Okay, so which means um, whatever emotions we feel, there are hidden messages in every emotion. And our job here is to really identify that whatever is going on internal becomes now our external result. No? So I'm not sure of this is going to speak to everyone, but the most important part here is you're right, everything's a cycle. So if you notice, um, when we have a negative event in our life, no? So imagine this is a drawing, no? So on top of our drawing is a negative event or anything that you don't like. Okay, what we tend here is we actually look at it as a negative emotion and we don't feel good about it. Okay, and if I were to look at it and working with people, the reason why it's not about the event of what happened to you externally, it was actually the meaning that you gave to yourself with that event. Okay. One example maybe, okay, maybe you posted something on Facebook, no? Let's say 500 people says, just wow, gabi ang galing-galing mo. Okay? And the one person who you don't know said the opposite side. She's faking. She's what a faker. F you, Jasmine. Okay, so where will you focus your emotion most of the time? The 500 who said you're great or the one who says you're not great?
Honestly, coach, there was a time and age, a certain age range na doon ako nag-focus sa negative. Kasi parang
because right now you're aware already, but most of that you're part of the 5% who's aware. But 95%, as based on what we always hear, they're not aware. Let's say you don't have that awareness. Mm-hmm. And you know, a lot of people will focus too much on what's not working versus what's working. Now, in fact, if you look at the dictionary of emotion, there are 3,000 different interpretation or different names of emotion, and 1,000 of it are positive, and the 2,000 or more are negative, which means human nature would always emphasize the negative and to total focus on this and overemphasize on this. So most probably a lot of people focus on the things that they don't like versus things that they want, right? Yeah. So here's the thing. It's because we take things personally. Okay, again, it will go back to the meaning. What's the meaning? Because when I hear this type of things that I don't like about myself, maybe the meaning here is being reinforced of what meaning I gave to myself. And the moment I start to believe this meaning again, that small voice is saying I'm not good enough, okay? Then you start creating a new evidence to reinforce that meaning that you gave to yourself. So you can be right about the meaning, so you can recreate a new event. So it's just a cycle that's going on, not unless you are aware. No, tama ka, Jasmine. Now I'm aware. Okay, opinion niya lang yun. Okay, yes, maybe true, maybe not. But you know what? Doesn't matter because I have a new meaning to myself. The most important part here is I'm able to see that and see it differently. That's why I really love the word awareness, because awareness is being able to just live life, okay, moment to moment, being able to either react or respond. Okay, when I say react is negative. Okay? It's either I deny myself and keep it and stay hurt around it, or I fight. That's react. But respond is take a deep breath. Okay, instead of working external, I'll work on my internal. Okay, what's going on? Why am I listening to this small voice again? Which is more important than listening to what is really true about me. So again, being able to put a pause with my life and understand of what's really going on rather than continuing a cycle of never ending. And then I get into the point wherein I'm drowning already. And it's either I survive or I die. It's because I don't know, it's eating me up already. I think that's how I would look at it.
I like how you pointed out awareness, coach, and that it's really understanding, is this affecting me, or is this about me, or is this just what I'm focusing on? Because yeah, I like what you said na sometimes people, or most of the time, people tend to focus on the negative things. Tapos parang lahat na internal negative talk na gawa na nila just because of that one negative thing around them in their external world. Where in fact, it all starts within you. It all starts with understanding how you should be responding but not reacting to that negative thing or that negative energy that came into your to your external life, right? Yeah, Jasmine, you were raising your hand.
Yeah, I would just like to add, I think, syempre, it comes into also, you have to understand that we're human beings and we're a type of animal that has to either respond to survive or, also in order to make things work. So we tend to, over time, we've decided to respond, not to be defensive and to think, mali yan, and they're doing something against me. So in terms of what is mental health, and to connect all of what you just said, it's about being aware of these things, processing that, and also exercising your brain to process it, because it's a different type of health, and if you're able to exercise that, kung kaya mong maglift ng dumbbells to be able to get biceps for your arms, you can also do different types of exercises for your mental health to be able to strengthen different types of scientifically, if I may mga I know there we have like a pediatric therapist here. Maybe she can back me up in terms of her studies as a psychologist, psychology student at some point, I'm sure. Like there are synapses that you can strengthen, which means that it becomes a habit and it becomes a way of thinking that you can strengthen and you can always depend on kasi. And when you form that habit, what it becomes is a reflex for you to go to that type of thinking first. So if you encounter something negative again in your life and you're like, okay, I'm processing it. This is my mental health. And the junk that I just ate, which is probably a friend of yours na nag-chismis about you, ay tignan mo siya kasi kung saya-saya niya habang tayo dito, nag-ano pa rin, nagsusuffer. And like, everyone has valid emotions, right? But syempre, kung ikaw, ang ipaprocess mo is how they said those things and you can't celebrate yourself, you will never be able to celebrate yourself. Kasi magiging habit mo yun for yourself na, I don't deserve to celebrate kasi nga there are people suffering. And there are just times and balances and proper ways or platforms to express yourself para lang din you can safeguard yourself and make sure you're not stepping on people. Kasi important for to be sensitive.
Yeah, Manel said here about overthinking, no? Sometimes we tend to overthink these kinds of negative comments or negative judgments that people have. And take it to ourselves so much na parang, tapos sobrang drama na ng life, di ba? Coach, parang may gusto kang sabihin.
I think in all of my seminar, the most important learning that I would always apply, okay, because again, maybe the whole day, once I set myself to be a journey of awareness, which means I don't react, okay. A lot of times I do, okay, but most probably I respond already. So to react is negative, to respond is to grow, to learn, okay. Which means you're not just operating from automatic programming, you're not operating from the same way of thinking, but you're now operating a different way of thinking. And that's where awareness comes in. And I call it the awakening part, no? Which means, again, in terms of consciousness, just when I was talking about how our brain works. Again, in the seminar, The first level of consciousness is what we call the culture scape. Okay, culture scape is really, I am the victim. No? Ito nangyari sa akin, ako yung biktima dito, ako yung kawawa. No? Now, what I'm trying to say here is everyone can be a victim to whatever is going on. Okay, umulan, hindi ako makalabas, naiinis ako. Mainit, ayoko lumabas, ayoko nainitan. So we're victim of circumstances. But the moment you start embracing a new way of thinking, yes, I am a victim, and I now know I have a choice to whether stay victimized around this or I do something around it, which I want to claim my power. And I think that's the level two of consciousness that we want people to embrace. Now, I think if there's one major lesson in my life up until now, I'm still working on myself, no, having been working on this the past 50 years, is what I call the 4R cycle, the 4-letter R cycle. No? And I think for some people that have attended my seminar, you always hear this over and over again. And I would always say, if your life is not working, okay, maybe you're very sick, maybe your relationship are broken, and you're broke, and you don't feel the sense of fulfillment, you feel dead inside, okay? You have to take a look at number one, am I in a resentment mode? No? So resentment is sama ng loob, okay? And we would describe it in seminar. It's called any emotional reaction of what we think that was said or done to us was wrong. Okay? It can start from upset. It can start from irritation. It can start from anger. It can start from jealousy, from envy. Yung mga emosyon na ayaw mo, na hindi mo gusto. No? The moment you get that emotion, automatic, if you feel victimized around this because you didn't like what they said, you didn't like what happened, you feel victimized around this, you move to the second R, which is what we call resistance. And resistance is putting up a wall against the other person, okay? Which is you don't like what's going on, and you push back. And a lot of people, especially Filipino, instead of facing what's going on, aatrasan. No? And how do we know? No? People tend to eat a lot. No? Pag maraming problema, they tend to eat a lot. Okay? Just like me, ice cream is my favorite place to go. I can finish half a gallon. And because I didn't know I was resisting already. No? Kasi masama ang loob ko, okay? And I'm not allowed to feel what's wrong. And I'm supposed to show I'm strong, I'm okay. And the moment I start asking my staff would say, okay, go buy me half gallon of ice cream, they would know I'm in resistance. It's just I don't like what's going on. Okay? Now, if you stay long enough in the resistance, okay, you move to the next R, which is revenge, which is putting up, a fight against the other party, but little you may know you're putting up a revenge against you. It's not working for you. Okay? And there's no such thing as a revenge. And we always say, revenge is an attempt to get even. I will repeat that. Revenge is an attempt to get even. Kasi nagalit ka, tapos dahil sa galit mo, gusto mong gumanti, at gusto mo siyang pagbayarin sa mga hindi niya magandang ginawa sa'yo. And that's revenge. Okay? And I would always say there's no revenge, okay? Because there's only karma. Which is the thing that you did to me, maybe Yani, that was negative, that's your karma. How I respond is my karma. Okay? Again, this is I think that the biggest concept that a lot of people cannot really get is being able to just let go of the things that's not working. Okay? And at the moment we go into the revenge mode, okay, we now go to the last R, which is what we call regrets. Okay, because we live our life, we wasted so much time, energy, and effort because of all of this. And it's a cycle, and by the way, it's a cycle that needs to be stopped.
Thank you, Coach. So that's 4 R's, no? That's resentment, again, going to resistance, revenge. I think what tends to happen is people get stuck in revenge. Meron tayong mga kakilala siguro or maybe kayo, ilang years na galit pa rin siguro sa taong nanira, siguro sa taong sa ex.
You know, the funny part about revenge, akala mo nakatira ka sa kabilang party, but it's actually against me. Let's say I did something really weird to you, Yani, because galit na galit ako dahil masama ang ginawa mo. At Yes, natumba kita. Okay? At that moment, what do you think was the emotion I learned that you felt at that moment?
Anger, coach.
The emotion I felt, yung natumba na kita, finally, ha 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 ha, ayan na, masamang babae ka kasi.
Diba, coach?
At
Parang,
that moment, what do you think I felt?
matutuwa ka. At
Okay, matuwa. At that moment, after which, what will happen?
Wala na. What's next after, right?
Yeah,
Wala.
the guilt,
Yeah.
the shame.
Mm-mm.
And the revenge is really not against the person who made wrong to me, but it's really directed to me. And I should say, guilt is the lowest form of energy. It's the worst place to be, and guilt is an anger not towards the other person, but it's an anger towards myself. And all of this depression, seriously, is also, I'm taking it against me. Why? Because I want to prove everyone they're wrong. This is what they did to me. Still being the victim.
Yeah, again, boomerang lang yan, coach, right? What you do to others, babalik lang din sa'yo. So, whether it's good or bad, babalik sa'yo. At the same time, again, what's the point of revenge? Sometimes, akala natin ito yung magpapasaya, pero afterwards, right, wala naman yung emotions, same pa din. This for
Pero minsan masarap pa rin, di ba? Sa totoo lang. Let's be real.
So how do you keep in check yung ganung klaseng emotion? Kunwari, like, for example, now, ang daming nagbabago and you don't understand bakit kasi it keeps changing or
Yeah.
or ikaw, you're trying to follow rules, you're trying to follow certain things, and you hear people pa rin talk smack about you. Paano yun? Paano natin ma-channel yung, kunwari, mainis tayo sa kanila? Kasi nakakapi ko naman din talaga, diba? Like,
tama.
ano ba yan? Napaka naman. Mask lang, nasa harap lang ng bahay. But you're like, yeah, I want to follow my rule, the rules that I believe in, and I want to keep everyone safe. Or kumbaga, paano yun kung someone's discriminating against you because you don't know what channels to use to manage that emotion, or kung sino ang lapitan mo or sinong tamang kausapin. Kasi sometimes may mga kinakausap tayo pero hindi rin nakakatulong or hindi rin sila encouraging or wala rin pasensya sa'yo or alam mo meron din silang sabihin sa'yo, ang dami kong iniintindi ngayon so iintindihan pa kita. Ano ba yan? Like, yan, ang tanda-tanda mo na. How do you then channel that for yourself? Kasi I mean, it affects you and makes you feel so minimized already, but you want to make sure na hindi naman invalidate. I don't want to invalidate that. But I don't want to seem like it's all about me.
Okay, so like you just mentioned, Jasmine, no? It's like muscles, right? So I will give you two things that you can do. The first is the internal work, okay? And the second is the external work, okay? Personally, the most important here is the internal work, which means what I do as a practice, as a daily habit, as a daily routine, to make sure, okay, I clean my internal condition on a day-to-day basis. Because the moment I create that internal workout in my day-to-day condition, okay, whatever is going on external, yes, I will be affected, but not that much. This is making sense. Why? Because I prepared myself internally. Okay, especially me, I'm working with people. I have more than 200 people with different mindset, with different behavior, with different characteristics. Okay, and there's no guarantee that I won't get hurt. But here's the thing: yes, I get hurt, but just a little bit. Why? Because I have prepared for it internally through my daily morning. That's my internal preparation. Okay, the external preparation here is again being able to assess, no? Because somebody asked here, how can I let go of this 4 hours that is negative? We actually have a 4 hours that is positive, which means something crazy happened and you don't like it. Okay? And what we'll all say is take a deep breath, inhale, exhale. Instead of reacting right away, the first thing you want to understand is pause and number 1, recognize. Ano ba itong nararamdaman ko? Am I angry? Am I upset? Am I irritated? Am I hurt? Am I sad? Make sure that you identify the emotion. And the first R is what we call recognize. No? An example here, I think Yani last year was so excited because she was expecting this and that, this and that. She prepared so much. And all of that sudden, the result was the opposite. Now she started calling and started crying, started this, and that. I said, take a deep breath. What's the emotion? And I think the emotion was sadness.
Sadness and
Yeah, so
anger.
and anger. Okay, so being able to identify the sadness and emotion. Okay, okay, great. So what I said, okay, if that's real, what I want you to do is do not deny yourself from feeling what's real. Allow yourself to really have an access to real emotion. Huwag mong tigilan yung sarili mong hindi maramdaman yung dapat mong nararamdaman. Never deny. That's the first recognize. Okay? After you recognize, number two, release it energetically, which means find time, okay, when it's really deep because it's a feeling of betrayal, especially with somebody who are so dear to us. Okay, take time. No, usually 1 day, 3 hours, 4 hours. Take time to release it energetically. So we have some exercises for you to let go, for you to again for me, especially the type of work that I do, I cannot enter a big coaching class with with hurt and frustration in the classroom. So just for instance, from home all the way to the seminar venue, the moment I receive a bad news, okay, something that's really hurtful, okay, so that I don't bring it to the room, what I do is I ask my driver to go down in the car, park somewhere feeling safe, and close the window, and that's where I started. That's where I will start yelling, pouring out my heart, ex- taking it off from my system energetically. Okay, and it's really helpful. I start crying around it when it's really deep and painful. Okay, and then the moment I release that, the moment I enter the room, as if I never went into a deep pain and trauma at that moment. It's really letting you go of it energetically, responsibly. Okay, so number one, recognize how you feel. Number two, release it energetically from an internal point of view. Okay. Number three, very important here is reframe. What am I learning from this? How can I expand? How can I grow? Or maybe if it's a person, what is this person teaching me? Because again, I will tell you, if you don't go beyond the lesson, you will still have the same hurt, the same pain with different person. It will just keep on showing up, keep on showing up. Okay? And last but not the least, still going back to the last hour, which is what I call rebuild. The rebuilding is what you do on a day-to-day basis to protect you from getting hurt, to protect you from getting crazy because you have a day-to-day. Again, I cannot imagine every day we brush our teeth to clean our teeth. True? Every day we take a bath to make sure we smell good. But people don't take time out to clean their internal space, which is I would say the subconscious and a totally different space when you are starting to clean whatever is going on inside, so that when there's dirt coming in, okay, you just brush it off and say, I'm okay, I'm bigger and better than this. Thank you for this wonderful gift of expansion and growth. I'm not saying I'm not hurt, but I'm saying is I can go beyond this because again, just like what you say, Jasmine, it's a muscle that we can work on a day-to-day basis. So again, internal work and external process.
Coach, sorry, before we proceed, Yani, may question kasi dito sa chat. How do you prepare yourself internally? Because for some people, baka they encounter it on the spot, whatever the problem is, or the scenario that makes them feel the emotion. What if they don't have the time na i-process yon, or magkulong muna sa kotse at sumigaw, or kung matulog muna, or i-exercise, or mag-boxing, whatever, kung ano man yung stress reliever nila, paano nila maprepare yung sarili nila internally for the day without knowing ano yung may encounter nila and paano nila gagawin yun ng hindi nakaka-put down sa sarili nila na parang, ano lang baka kasi may magkamali or, para hindi din sila masanay to prepare lagi for the bad or the wrong. But kumbaga, just kind of prepare the managing of the emotion, whatever they encounter. What do you guys?
What I overemphasize now for a lot of my teammates who's really aware, and every time they come to me, they cry, they do this, they do that. I only ask one question. Okay, Mads is one of my senior life coach here. So Mads, can you open your mouth?
Coach.
So every time you come to me, you cry and you dramatize about everything. Okay, I always say, Mads, I don't have to coach you. Only one question I ask you. What question was that, if you remember?
First, coach would always tell me if I'm open to talk about it, and then you would ask me, ano bang nangyayari sa akin, or what's happening, what is it that's happening for me.
And bottom line, Mads, is always, how's your daily morning routine?
Yes.
And then you would also say, yun na nga, coach, nakakaligtaan ko. Ayan, you have a tool, but you're not using it. Is this clear? The only tool that you have here is your daily morning routine, because when you do your daily morning routine, I'll guarantee you're protected from whatever is going on outside. And the daily morning routine is setting aside, Jasmine, 5 minuto, 10 minuto, 20 minuto. Hindi na masama yun sa ikaliligaya mo sa buong araw. So I do not really buy, I don't have time to do that. You have time to shower, you have time to eat, you have time to watch Netflix, you have time to scan your Facebook. You don't have time for your happiness. It's not an excuse.
So Coach, would you say, kumbaga, sa mga taong nagsasabi na wala akong time kasi mag-commute pa ako sa umaga, paano yun, naghihintay pa ako sa pila, etc., etc. And then what do you say pag sinabi nilang, iisipin ko pa yun, isipin ko pa yung, how do you counter that type of thinking though? Kasi, syempre, may program that...
I get it. You want the same life, then go do it. I will not force you. Now I'm showing you another option, and you're telling me you don't have time for this. I mean, seriously? I always say, okay, sige, you don't have time for this. If you continue, sige, let's do role playing, Jasmine, okay lang? Okay, Jasmine, I respect that you don't have time for this. Jasmine, if you continue living this way of life, feeling this way every day, what will happen to your life in the next 3 years?
It would still be the same.
Okay, is that the life that you want?
No, I want changes, Coach.
Now, I'm just asking 10, 20 minutes of your time to do for you.
But Coach, paano yun? I don't have time.
Okay.
Diba?
I respect that.
Yeah. It would mean forever, Coach, wala na akong time, diba? Kasi I can't make that kahit 1 minute, start with 1 minute, and then build to 2 minutes. And then you build until whatever is the most comfortable for your daily morning routine. Would you say, Coach?
Agreed.
The easiest way of...
It's this. We are human being with habits. Habits that creates a result. Now, what about slide in a 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes to make your habit create a better life for you, and you don't have time for that? It's really impossible, seriously. I would always say, sige, Jazz, you don't have time. What if I'll pay you $1 million if you do this 365 straight days? Will you have time for that?
I think most people would say yes.
It's just that they don't want to change. Yun lang naman yun eh. Parang, seriously, a lot of people would come to me crying, asking for, coaching, etc., etc. And I would suggest to them something that they can start to work on. They say, I'm not willing to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to change their way, period. Sabi nga, di ba, parang it's about changing how you attack the same problem that's been repeating over and over again. And yet we're not even willing to equip ourselves. There's a lot of means and ways. But again, we cannot blame a lot of people because we were all wired up that we are victims of circumstances versus I can have a choice and we create a choice in my life.
Yes, Coach.
Yes, Coach.
I love that you mentioned that morning routine, Coach, no? So, kahapon may mga drama-drama kang gabi. Hindi na ako tumawag sa'yo kasi I know we're just gonna go morning routine. So, sabi ko, you know what? Stop this drama. Tomorrow, I'm gonna have the best morning ever. So, that's what I did. I shifted and then today, parang ang ganda lang ng energy, ang happy lang because I really committed to my morning routine today. And I think maganda yon because meron tayong magandang question dito and maybe we can also apply that yung magiging question niya dito sa morning routine. I will call ahead Patring. Are you here? Parang nawala si Patricia. Okay, nawala siya. So her question is, of course, we are now in GCQ, right? And isa siya dun sa mga taong bumalik na ngayon sa work. Physical work, kailangan bumalik sa trabaho. How do you now transition your life from sanay na sanay, nasa bahay na lang, work from home, eto na yung routine, how do I now move into a new routine? Coach?
Change will always be constant. At the end of the day, we always say the only permanent in this world is change. Now, the most important part here is the faster we adapt to the changing world, okay, the more we move forward in our lives. Okay? And if I take a look at, again, in our organization, okay, I think we only had one day of drama. And then we started picking up ourselves, okay? And we were able to meet the craziest result in the whole 3 months of lockdown in the past 5 years because the adaptability quotient is very high, which means, yes, Patring, I will give you a day to dramatize around it, to be angry, to be hurt, to be. But again, you have to make a decision. You have to really see. And adapt a new routine to fit whatever you want to do in your life. I mean, in the end, it's your life. And making sure that whatever schedule you have, include this as if you're taking a bath. You cannot say, I don't have time to take a bath. Again, taking a bath because that was introduced to us as a little child. Okay? But the thing that we always say about taking care of your internal condition was never part of our, upbringing.
Meron ng comment dito, Coach, parang daily routine is like taking a bath, pero internal.
Yeah.
Pinapaliguan talaga internal, right?
Yeah. If you look at the best player in our team, okay, are not the brightest, are not the most senior, but are the ones who are very connected to. I mean, I'm just so happy he's here, no, Coach Val. Okay, you're one of the best guys in the team. In fact, last year, you were awarded as never since the way when we started. It was 100% productivity, and the reason why he's like that is because I just feel, Coach Val, can you share your daily morning routine? What's going on for you?
Coach Val, are you here? Parang wala si Coach Val.
I see him.
If Coach Val is not here, maybe one of you guys could shed your own personal morning routines. Kasi it's sakto, Danielle who asked about how do you prepare about prepare internally. Kung may mga encounter ka, gutom na yata ako ng merienda, guys. Shout out sa ating sponsor muna. Yes. Pero anyway, get back on the serious side. How do you prepare internally? She was the one who asked for that. But how do you do a morning routine? And what is your morning routine? What do you guys do every day? And how long do you guys set aside? What does it entail? And how can you vary that maybe para ikaw din yourself, you're motivated every day to do that?
Right. Merong nag-share dito, no, si Jan Verhel. Can I call you? Will you be willing to share your morning routine to us? I'll unmute you. John Verhel. Can you share? Wala. Okay.
Game daw siya, game daw siya.
Game daw, pero bakit hindi ko... sige.
Hi, Yani. JV to.
Hi!
So, yeah. So, for me, if I will share my daily routine, no? First of all, pagkagising ko, I do my prayer and then my 20 minutes meditation. Then, after that, meron ako sarili kong exercise na routine na working for me naman kasi ayoko rin ng mga medyo hard na exercise. So, dun muna ako sa kung ano yung mas kaya ko, tapos kung ano yung nagwo-work sa akin. And then 20 minutes to 1 hour, yun yung learning ko na every day may bago dapat ako matututunan in skills, personal development, or pwede sa business ko. Yun.
Thank you for sharing, JV. So, I'll call on Coach Val to share because andyan pala siya, DFC. Okay. Coach Val, can you unmute yourself? Okay. Sige. So, thank you for sharing, JV. Medyo same tayo ng daily routine, diba? Really setting aside time for our quiet time. I think that's the most important here. And then this morning, actually, yun lang ang ginawa ko. Actually, na-realize ko. Sabi ko, you know what? I miss the outside world. So, ang ginawa ko para maiba, lumabas talaga ako ng bahay. At lumabas talaga ako ng pintuan ng bahay namin. At doon ako nag-yoga at nag-meditate sa ilalim ng araw. Sabi ko mainit pero ngayon lang naman to and na-miss ko talaga yung just getting vitamin D, diba? So, sige coach.
Yeah. I saw Jill here, type something, and I think Jill, we have very similar daily morning routine, and I will guarantee you when I do this, my entire day is just running more than perfect, more than what I'm expected because I really spend my time and energy. Jill, can you share this quickly? Unmute.
Yan. Hi, Coach. Yes, actually, I learned this from you. You taught this. You shared this to me. So, sa start ng day, I really want to make sure na the first few minutes of the day I devote for the daily routine, for that meditation. Kasi I noticed nga, like what you all inulong ko pa siya towards the end of the day, parang I miss that shower, that refresh. I start with a quiet time. This is what we call the download. So it's really passive meditation. So it's maybe waiting on the inspiration to be in spirit, like what you always say, and just being still and practicing, noticing my breath, being quiet and just listening. Just gratitude talaga. And I try my best. I know, sobrang natatempt ako na kapag nag-pray, I ask for things, but I've been trying na when I pray, the prayer is really all about gratitude so that, my thoughts, my intentions are also focused on that positive. And then I speak my declaration, how I see myself as I pray with God. That's our favorite line, diba, when we do our declaration. And then visualization, really just seeing myself, how I'm gonna be for the rest of the day, because this day is the only day that's important for now. And then I love the part of just physically hugging myself kasi that's me giving myself, the love, giving myself that physical touch of an embrace na, lalo na ngayon na GCQ, ECQ, less connection with other family members, diba? We can physically do a handshake even. So that hug, even if ako lang nabibigay sa sarili ko, is really, really important for me. And then, it's again at the end, just ending that with complete surrender na, giving my past, my present, and my future to Him, knowing that I did my best. I'll step into this whole day, just acting full out and leaving everything up to Him, kung ano yung mangyayari. Ganun. So, that's for me, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill, for sharing. We have a lot of shares actually in this group chat, no? Merong checking my to-do list first and then do some stretching or fixing my bed. Actually, you know what? Fixing your bed is your first accomplishment for the day. So make sure that's one thing that you do every day. Para kahit at the end of the day, alam mo yon, it's not a good day, pagbalik mo sa kama mo, you know, I accomplished something for today. So don't forget that. Right? Diba? Thank you for
If yun pa lang yung kumot mo, and if it's as simple as that, gawin mo pa rin. Kasi at least na-clear na yung isang task na yun. And I wanna read a few things lang here kasi lots of people are giving so many suggestions or their own versions of their morning routines, and iba-iba siya. Some people it doesn't involve a prayer or a meditation. Some people it's actually going through a certain type of routine na talagang part of their day na. So that's one of the things na you guys should also consider. Hindi tayo pare-pareho lahat. Some of us not very spiritual, but some of us like to really be practical or be ideal sa mga ginagawa nating routine. But think of it this way, yung mga ginagawa yung practical na routine na yun, it's very refreshing for your soul. So nakakatulong pa rin yun internally sa'yo kasi worries mo yon, and it's one of the things na inaalala mo kasi pag alis mo ng bahay, kung sakaling balik to office ka na, syempre isipin mo yung mga dishes na naiwan mo, yung mga hindi mo tiniklop na labada or hindi mo pa na-plancha, di ba? So, these are all part of your worries and these are all part of what comes together to form your good mental health and your clearing of your morning routine. So kung hindi sa inyo mag-work ang prayer or ang meditation or ang exercise, let's say hindi talaga kayo into physical activities, like no problem. You guys can have your own version. Here someone said that they listen to a podcast. Michelle said that she listens to one podcast while she's planning her day, and she does it through Spotify. So, that's one thing that you guys can use for yourself na don't trouble yourself by kung wala kayong money to 'di ba, to hire a psychologist or a life coach or walang available or you just are not comfortable going to another person. Maybe hearing someone else's recording online or on Spotify, maybe that's more comfortable for you. Then don't diminish it as na free naman yan online, parang ano ba naman yan. But think of it as, okay, it's another perspective I can take into consideration. And maybe this will help me when I encounter something in my own world. Kahit na hindi related sa'yo, kung you're listening to a podcast about relationships and okay naman yung relationship mo, maybe it will apply to you in a different relationship. Yung mga ganong klaseng bagay. So, wag niyong i-diminish yung morning routine niyo just because it's not what we're talking about. Share your rin here. Dito, may daily routine siya. Silent time lang with this visualization, exercise. Si coach pala to. Ayun. Hindi daw niya ma-unmute, but his
Coach, can
routine
you try again? Oo. I like that you pointed out na free naman talaga ang morning routine, right?
yes.
And also, Jasmine is right. Whatever works for you, just do it. Okay? So don't just, take what Jill was saying, what Yani and I was saying. Do your research. My only request is to do it persistently, consistently, and make sure it's a system and structure that it becomes a habit for you. That's the whole point here.
Correct, Coach. I also want to point out that don't be too hard on yourself. If sometimes may days na hindi mo siya magawa, it's okay. I'm telling you guys, kung nakita niyo yung post ko kaninang umaga, that's me the past week. And today I just recommitted. And that's okay. Don't be too hard on yourself. Again, sabi nga ni Coach, what works for you, yun ang gawin ninyo. Kasi mamaya magbigay kami ng all these routines and you don't like it, so di nyo rin siya gagawin. So, for me, research and do what works for you. I'll go ahead and call Jody. She wants to share. She raised her hand. Go ahead, Jody. Unmute yourself.
Hello po, good afternoon. So I actually invited a few people inside this webinar, and I just want to honor everyone else for doing this in a Sunday, of course. And to share my morning routine, baka ma-overwhelm na din yung iba. No, ay parang ang complicated naman, ang daming steps na ginagawa, ganito, ganyan, para lang mag-morning routine. Kasi for me, it's something that would set up your day. And it's just a few minutes, let's say 30 minutes lang yan, kahit 15 minutes lang yan, but it would really affect your whole week even. And living in a environment kasi dito sa bahay, may bata, maraming pets, maraming aso, may mga manok, may mga kapitbahay na nagkakaraoke. So, sobrang ingay. And I really do need that kind of waking up and at least mga 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. just to have that certain kind of silence para meron na akong, alam mo yun, peace of mind na alam ko na yung araw na to, mapapakinggan ko yung sarili ko muna bago ko mapakinggan lahat ng noise around me. And what I tell myself to meditate always is to let go of what happened yesterday that I don't like. And this is something that I got also from Coach Russ. No? Tatlong bagay lang na sinasabi ko sa sarili ko. First is, thank you for trying and thank you for trying today. And second is, thank you. I forgive you. I forgive you for all of the things that you have done before and let go of that. You will be better today. And third is, I love you. Yun yung pinaka-important. Kasi pag in-acknowledge mo kasi sa sarili mo na mahal mo yung sarili mo, ingatan mo sarili mo, di ba? So, sinasabi din yun ni Coach Russ, syempre, we are a reflection of whatever we do. And as coaches, we also have to radiate that kind of energy, no? Paano tayo nila papaniwalaan on how to be a better person if tayo din hindi natin siya na-exercise ng maayos. So for me, yun lang yung tatlong bagay na nakatulong talaga. And also, in terms of physical na exercises, medyo malikot talaga ako. Like, sobrang active ko. So, ako yung type na person na hindi ako inuutusan pero mas gusto ko yung maglinis ng bahay, maghugas ng pinggan, maglaba, ganun. So, pwede na rin ako i-hire as kasambahay. So, yun lang. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Jody, for sharing. I think Jody's all the way from Davao. Tama ba ako? I think all the way from Davao. So, nakikinig. And sabi niya nga, di ba, important to have her quiet time. Kasi, so, ang ginagawa niya, being responsible of her time, gumigising na mas maaga than everyone else. Go, Coach Russ.
Ako lang, may suggestion kasi, especially right now, the biggest emotional baggage that I always hear from people is the fear of losing income. Do you hear that also? Diba? If I may be able to share with you, no, the best place to be is if everything is taken away from you, no, your business, your title, whatever you built in the past, okay? How can you rebuild yourself and how fast can you go back to the same success? Okay? The only answer to that I will ask you guys is to also take time every day to spend at least a great amount of time to learn so you are prepared for whatever is going on ahead of you. I think that's the best part because a lot of people are so afraid to lose their job. A lot of people are so afraid to create a new career, are so afraid to step into doing something new because, again, they did not prepare themselves. What if everything is taken away from me? Can I rebuild myself and bring back whatever I got into, especially in my level of success? And I would really suggest you include in your daily morning routine or daily evening routine, daily afternoon routine. I read a comment down here that what if you're not a morning person, at least spend time, no? Spend time like brushing of teeth, taking a bath to have that extreme self-care for you. And I guess the word here is extreme self-care because when you care yourself, that's where you love yourself. And it's really expressing the 5 love language yourself, and that will allow you to make sure that you are no longer afraid of the future because you are prepared for it no matter what's going on outside. Again, the best place to be is you ask yourself, if everything is taken away from me now, 2 questions: who I am, and how fast can I rebuild myself towards where I want to go. And the only solution there is really self-care, including personal development and personal mastery.
I agree with you, Coach, and especially yun nga with the constant changes and all these things that is so difficult to manage. And what if you're already halfway through your day, diba, and you weren't able to set up your day properly? Well, what do you do? And I'm so glad that our participants today are actually going back and forth, messaging each other in the chat box and saying na whatever works for you, and they're thanking each other because it's a sharing of minds, and that's what we need, a space to be able to voice out our different questions, because sometimes we already have an idea kung paano dapat, and kasi most of the people do it a certain way, so baka yun yung only way, diba? But sometimes merong kahit isang tao lang that can affirm you, it's okay if you do it like that. Like, if that works for you and it makes you a better person, a happier person, make you perform better on the job or be a better friend or whatever it is, then do it because it clearly works for you. And the people that will want to be in your life, will want to work with you, will want to be your friend, or that will be persistent as a family member. Kasi you cannot force these things sometimes, but sometimes yun yung mga bagay na you'll see once they accept you. Because once you accept you and you share that with people, then that's, I think, it makes it easier for people around you to accept you and for you to filter who's really there with you to make you a better person too. And it's important that we choose that, especially in these trying times and these ever changing setups in quarantine. And yun nga, if you're in terms of your job, kung mawalan ka ng trabaho, you know that you have a friend or a family member or a loved one, whatever it is pa, or maybe even here, and you'll meet someone here that might be able to also talk to you, baka they have something developing, or they can help you out too, and you can progress from there. Malay mo, you don't know
Actually,
people.
thank you for bringing that up, Jasmine. Actually, the reason why Yani is putting this up because there's a huge need in the world to have a community that they feel safe. No? And if I may share with you, we have a class last Saturday with more than 180 people, and everyone was just putting their hearts out. Okay? A 14-year-old girl shared about her suicidal tendency. Somebody's dad just passed away. Somebody turned back to addiction, and all of this really allowed a community to support and serve one another. Again, so if you're not part of the community and you notice there's a lot of people just typing in their answers to their solution, simply because we come in to this crowd and community to help and support one another. Again, this is not our place to earn money. Okay, we have a lot of place where to earn money. This is a place wherein we want to serve, we want to support, and I'm very happy that Jasmine, again, is helping us to bring more people to this type of world, because the world needs what we have. Okay, and you are needed. If you're drowning, the best way you can support other people is to help them. And when you help them, you see yourself going up because you're being helped by communities and support people. But then again, you cannot help people drowning when you yourself are drowning. No? So I just want to handle something here. No, Harley said the word anger management. No? So my suggestion, instead of handling anger, release anger. Because the moment you start, sucking in, okay lang, huwag ka muna magalit, huwag na galit. Pag hindi mo na-handle yan, nagiging cancer yan. Right? So what I always said, Jess, is really release it energetically. Okay? One of the most important release that I do letter writing. No, kung may galit na galit ako, susulatan ko siya. Tapos doon ko siya mumurahin lahat ng walang hiya ka, itong ginawa mo sa akin, anak ka ni Satanas, lahat ng karumal-dumal na pwede kong sabihin, okay? Release ko doon, iiyakan ko yan. Pagkatapos, wala na ako masabi, napagod na ako kasi naubos na yung mura ko. Okay? Then I go out, okay? I find a safe place, then I burn it. That means I'm releasing this. No? Tapos kung narinig mo na yung pangalan, naiinis ka, sige, murahin mo na, hanggang maubos na, hanggang pag nagkita kayo, parang, ba't na ako galit sa'yo? Hindi ko na alam. Why? Because you have released it energetically. No? Seriously, I think 2 years ago, remember Jill, I got hurt really, really, really I felt betrayed, all of this. And I did it like every day, every day. And the moment we met in the court, we met in all of this, and there was no drama at all, except to say, you know what? All I can say is thank you. Uh, Please forgive me if I've hurt you, and forgive me because I felt you were hurt. So again, when we get to see each other, as if walang nangyari. Why? Because I did not handle my anger, but I was able to release my anger hanggang ubos na, hanggang boring ng pag-usapan kasi wala na eh. It doesn't even, register in my mind that this person hurt me. All I remember was just gratitude because this, and that. And I guess instead of managing it, release it energetically. So that's one of the many things that we do in releasing. Back to you, Yani or Jasmine.
Releasing instead of handling. Right? Na anger. Tama. Thank you, Coach. Sabi dito ni Jasmine, napakagandang suggestion, mag-TikTok na lang daw.
may ano na lang ako, sinolidify ko lang yung sinabi ni Miss Jody. Sabi niya, opo, sa TikTok, pwede natin isayaw yung galit. Charot.
Oh.
Some people, it works, alam mo yon, kahit hindi mo i-record yan at i-upload sa TikTok, play your favorite song, or kung meron kang song na tinatakbuhan pagkagalit ka, play it too. Sarado mo yung door mo, kanta mo, just release it.
Lalo break up.
Yan.
Diba? Wag agad na. Hindi ako na-hurt. Okay lang. It's her loss. It's his loss. Mag-play ka ng breakup song. No? Tapos doon ka sa harap ng salamin. Tapos gaganon-ganon ka.
Walling.
Yan. Mag-walling ka. Yan. Dramatic scene. Para tapos na. Para nakita kayo, hindi mo naalala na hurt ka niya pala. Very important.
Sakto, may nag-comment kanina dito, how do you let go? Ayan. Mag-walling ka, play a Moira song.
No. You do anything to release it, again, emotionally. Because sometimes, di ba?
Yeah.
Example, so Jasmine would always say, Russ, nandyan yung ex mo. Sabi mo, Jas, di ba sabi ko, napatawad ko na siya. Huwag natin siya pag-usapan. Napatawad ba talaga? Hindi. Yeah, because emotionally, it's still there.
Exactly.
Why? Because it was not released energetically. It was not released emotionally. How would you know it was completely released? When you talk about it, you don't even remember something bad happened.
Yes.
I'm not saying you allow this person to be part of your life again. Again, I always say forgive, but never forget the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Is that making sense? Again, forgive and never forget the lesson, di ba? Pinatawad mo, no? Inutangan ka ng milyon-milyon, tapos naging friends na naman kayo kasi sabi ni Russ, forgive, no? Tapos inutangan ka na naman, ay ikaw na si tanga.
Yes. Well, wag yung forget na parang never forget, ginawa mo to sa akin eh. But it should be, so now I learn. I know what to do better.
I will not say, you know what? I love you, but I will respect our friendship, but never the finances.
Yes, it happens, and you just have to. You can create that boundary naman eh. You can still return to a friendship, but if you're the type na hindi talaga kayang balikan or to forgive or to forget, just know that sometimes that might build. Sometimes it might not. You might not solve it internally, and you might encounter something similar with another friend or another person. So maybe if you can learn it and if you can apply it to some of the relationships that are currently or still not repaired, maybe that can be like a semi-project and a way for you to also heal para the next time you deal with people or encounter certain similar problems, alam mo na rin, di ba, for yourself, how to protect yourself and hindi ka na mafo-fall sa trap na yon. Parang relationship nga lang yan. You can't say na, lahat ng lalaki ganito. It's you also knowing na, okay, what went wrong specifically there? And how can I make sure that in my next relationship, it can be better? Or paano ko i-attack yung problem solving in my next relationship? Because it's not just about fixing what's in front of you, but it's also what's inside of you and how you deal with things. Ika nga, di ba kanina sabi natin, it's how we allow it to register and how we want to react to it. So it's really just implementing that and practicing that and protecting yourself too and loving from a distance. Sabi ni
Sabi,
Coach.
forget you, but you're a stranger now. You're a stranger now.
I guess we have come to a I have come to a conclusion again. I meet people for a certain reason, for a certain season.
Yes.
Okay, so hashtag walang forever for all. And maybe for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm 49 years old. I'm 20, 30 years ahead of both of you, Jasmine and Yani. And this is what I realize. In life, you don't need a lot. You just have someone, maybe one cookie friend who I can call and I can feel safe that I can be a victim and this person will not judge me. I also need someone at 3 a.m. and say, hey, come here, I need your help, and they will come no matter what. But not a lot of people who I'm trying to please, and it's not working. So again, I meet certain persons for a reason, a season, and maybe for lifetime. Okay. Kanta yan actually.
Lyrics ba yun ang panahon mo, Coach?
Nasa 80s, 70s.
I get.
Awesome.
Still relevant, diba? Still relevant.
Yes.
So, having said that, again, I cannot not overemphasize of taking care of myself through my daily morning routine or maybe afternoon routine, maybe evening routine, but also taking care of myself through personal development. Okay, we say personal development so that I don't become irrelevant with my money making endeavor. Okay, make sure that you are doing something for yourself, that your success is not dependent on your position, on your company, or your fame, or your family, but your success is dependent on you. Therefore, um, part of the things that you can take care of yourself is to really develop yourself so that when everything falls apart, you're still strong, prepared, and ready to rock and roll your world because you are your own success. It's not dependent on external. And I think that's the biggest fear around people right now. Losing job, losing this. Again, it's a consequence because I have not prepared myself in case of like this. So which means this daily thing that I'm requesting everyone to do is to make sure that you are prepared of whatever is going on ahead of you. Yani?
Thank you, Coach, for pointing that out. So again, just managing emotions, what's important is you work on your daily morning routine or your daily routine to clear the negative energy within you and come to work if you need to work with the good energy, a positive energy. And alam mo yon, whatever happens external, it's gonna be easier to handle. It's gonna be easier to acknowledge those negative things because you work on working on yourself.
Yeah. I love the comment again of your Harley. Has a lot of friends, different circles, but not all are there for me. I guess the most important here is develop a group of friends who you can converse with and you can be real even if you're not okay. Right? And I guess Yani and I we talk almost every day, right? And I can just say Yani that Yani I feel shitty today. I cannot say that to everyone. Have someone who you can call on and you can be real in the worst time of your life and this person won't judge you. This person will just allow you. But of course, this person won't let you go drowning. That's the most important crowd or community you want to build. No, and I guess this is a great community. What Yan is building here simply because it will allow people to feel safe, to be okay, not to be okay. And of course, we don't allow people to stay there in the next 10 years not to be okay because you don't deserve that. Okay, again, remember moods versus emotion. Emotion, something happened external. I feel I don't really like the emotion. That's okay. But 10 years na ganun ka pa rin, that's not okay. Moods versus emotion, which means we never coach the emotion, but we coach the moods, because the moods of your life will determine the quality of your happiness and success.
I love the comment here of Daniel. I have two friends and we have a group chat. In that group chat, we tell our naked truth. We all have... May ganyan ka din? Ako din, meron. Yung where you can be honest and real around these people.
Ako may group chat ako, sabi yun yung dark side. Dito, doon kami doon kami naging totoo sa mga hindi maganda tungkol sa amin. Okay? We also have one that is an accountability side, wherein yes, we're dramatic, but we hold each other accountable. So
Yes, I
helps
think
a lot.
being able to watch out for each other, and oftentimes na ako, I have to confess, I don't have that many friends, contrary to what people may believe. Kala nyo, bilang lang, and yung talagang mga nakakausap ko truly about my real emotions, about what's going on in my life, or how I view certain types of news, diba, na naririnig natin dyan. So, you need these types of people, and even if kukonti lang sila, make sure you have a select few, kasi you wanna make sure hindi mo rin i-burden yung isa. Like, for example, ako, I live with my boyfriend, and syempre, siya yung pinaka-closest na friend ko. So, I make sure na I'm able to be authentic to him and share my thoughts with him. But it comes then to a certain point na baka ma-overburden siya with all of that, right? So, kailangan meron din akong ibang matakbuhan from time to time, or you allot a certain topic to a certain group that you need to release that type of truth to, kung it's about work, o kung workmates mo yung pinaka-okay na kausap about work na you feel safe, then maybe create a group chat na alam nyong safe kayo lahat doon, and you can actually vent about work. But also, like Coach Russ said, hold each other accountable. Okay, so you said this. What then can we do? Tayo, okay, so we know that's a problem and we agree with you. Or if we don't agree with you, how can we help you see what is actually available out there so that you don't feel what you already feel or what you think, diba? So it's being able to support each other, face the truths that we believe, but at the same time still help, and still, not let each other drown, because that's important. So I don't tell my boyfriend everything. I don't tell him all of my struggles, but he knows most of it. And when I feel like, okay, marami na rin siyang iniintindi, I find someone else. Okay, so for today, Monday, okay, ang kausap ko is si ganyan. Okay, Tuesday, okay, kahapon kasi kinausap ko na si Tracy tungkol sa love life ko. Siyempre, hindi ko kausapin yung boyfriend ko about my love life, diba? So si Tracy kakausapin ko about my love life. And then Jeff, I contact him about my work because he's not in my industry, and one, he can't say an opinion back because wala siyang alam about my industry. So it's really him just listening and him taking it in. And if meron man siyang maiisip na suggestion, at least it's someone na may different perspective na can view my industry from the outside and maybe give me an understanding na hindi ko nakita. So, yun, make sure yun. Like, I really love, very, participative si Daniel, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, that we have different circles for different purposes or reasons, and utilize that well. Kasi hindi porke work mo lang sila, di mo na sila kakausapin, or hindi na important yung opinion nila, or di na kayo friends. Maybe that can be a good outlet na you're on the same page, you're on the same platform. Just make sure that they're trustworthy and you're protected. You protect each other.
I like that you pointed out na you will be there for each other, supporting each other. Kumbaga, hindi yung victim kayong lahat dyan. Tapos lahat, right? Na parang sabay-sabay kayo. Tapos walang action steps on how to move forward. I think what's more important is you are supporting each other. Kumbaga, lunod na, like you said kanina, drowning. Iahon ninyo yung isa't isa sabay-sabay. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Sige, so I'm glad that my friend from Singapore is here. Hi, Roy. Thank you.
Hi, Roy.
Okay, so how do you now coach yourself when you are by yourself and you want to get out of the situation? Would that be a good question?
Yes, please,
Yes,
Coach.
okay. So the way you coach yourself is, number one, please Again, when do you coach yourself? When you don't feel good inside. That's your first, I should say, thermometer. That should be your first measure. When I don't feel good, when I'm bad trip, when I feel angry, when the emotion that I feel is not good, number one is to pause. Okay, make sure you take a deep breath, because when you take a deep breath, you're putting yourself into a certain level of awareness. Nakakapag-isip ka ng maayos. Tama? Why? When the emotion is high, the intelligence is low. I will repeat that. When the emotion is high, the intelligence is low, which means hindi ka nakakapag-isip at mataas kasi emotion mo, mamaya meron kang nagawang hindi maganda. Right? So take a look at on all of the craziest thing, the craziest thing that happened in your life is because you dealt it with too much emotion and you were not able to think about it, and it hurt you and it hurt everyone. So again, number one is you pause when you don't feel good, when you feel angry, you just take a deep breath, inhale and exhale. So the second thing is you ask yourself, what do I want out of this emotion? What do I want out of this emotion? Okay? And only two answers is either I want to continue feeling bad or I want to get out of this emotion. That's two questions that you will ask yourself. What do I want out of this emotion? Do I want to continue feeling bad or do I want to get out of this? Okay? Now, if you choose to continue to feel bad, okay, then just stay there. Don't do anything. But if this is not helping you, this is not serving you, you move to number 3. What do I want to do about this? What am I accountable for this? What can I do in my own capacity so I can move forward? Which is number 3. The hardest part for number 3 is to stop blaming the traffic, your boss, your boyfriend, your ex-boyfriend, people around you, which is number 3, is own up what you want to happen for you. That's the hardest thing. Because why? You cannot blame the situation or the person anymore. Okay? Number 4, who do I need to be? Who do I need to be so I can actually get out of this? Okay? And who do I need to be? Maybe number 1, be accepting that you are not in full control of what's going on outside. Is this clear? Number 2, if it's a person, be compassionate, because the whole truth is these people never intended to hurt you. Maybe they're just going on with their own drama in life, and nagkataon lang ikaw yung tinamaan. Did that make sense? Yeah, be compassionate, or maybe I need to be forgiving. Okay, why? That's the only solution. You cannot stay there feeling angry, feeling bad. Okay? And perhaps last but not the least is who I need to be responsible, that I can create my own life without feeling victimized around it. Is this making sense? Now you identify who I need to be. Number 5 is, what do I need to do in this particular aspect? Okay. Now, if it's someone close to your heart, the perfect action here is clear. What does clearing means? Be in an honest, open, and responsible communication. An example here is, kami ni Yani, nagkaroon ng hindi magandang role playing. Is that okay? Okay.
Sige, Coach.
Yani, I just want to clear something. Are you open for conversation?
Yes, Coach.
Yeah, yesterday I felt unimportant because I did not see you in the meeting, and I did not hear from you. I'm letting this go because our relationship is important to me, and I just let you know that I'm affected with it, but I'm releasing it, and I want to support you and I moving forward.
Thank you for being honest about how you felt, of how I showed up. What can I do moving forward to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
My request maybe is, let me know what's going on for you, because I'm worried. Okay, and sometimes sometimes I feel I'm not being informed, so it's very important that you inform me, so at least I know what's going on. Is that
Okay.
something you can?
Yes, it's something I can do. Thank you so much for clearing.
Okay, thank you. Anything you'd like to clear with me?
None. Thank you so much, Coach.
Awesome. So, Jasmine, what was your observation around that conversation?
So what it is just a clear communication, finding out where everyone is standing, and just be open, basically, to share. Because if the relationship is important, then being able to hear out or ask, and also be honest when asked, so that you can respect each other's spaces or time or privacy, etc.
So you notice, the first step was I acknowledge bad trip ako kay Yani, right?
Yes.
And the second here is I ask myself, do I want to continue the relationship or I want to kick her out of my life? Okay.
Yeah.
If I want to kick her out of my life, I continue judging her.
Mhm.
I continue judging her. I continue being in this bad space. But okay, I want to continue this relationship because again, it's just one area. Then number 3, the only question is, what's my responsibility? I did not open up. I did not speak. It's always okay lang to be late. It's always okay lang hindi ka lang show up. Then I have to speak out. Okay. Number 3, accept. Yeah, it happened yesterday. I cannot do anything around it. I cannot rewind the world. Okay. Maybe compassion. Hindi ko alam what's going on for her. Baka may sakit siya. Okay. Maybe forgive her because I felt hurt and not asking for forgiveness. I judge her. And then what do I want to do out of it? Is be in conversation.
Yes.
So did that answer the question? Did that create a better moving forward momentum in as far as creating result is concerned?
Yes, definitely. Because may action na may moving forward steps, right?
Ganun lang naman kung lalo sa relasyon, kung dalawa lang tanong mo, sige, nagalit ako sa kanya, gusto ko bang patuloy ang relationship o hiwalayan to? Yun lang. No? Kung gusto mong hiwalayan to, ay, drama tayo dito. Kaya ko yan. No? Good luck sa'yo. Pero okay, I still want this relationship. Maybe the biggest question here is, especially in romantic relationship, ladies and gentlemen, they are the perfect people who can push the right button.
Mhm.
Which means they reflect so much of what's unhealed portion internal that's showing up in the behavior choices, that the moment you start healing it, even if the person is still choosing to behave that way, as long as it's not doing anything illegal, immoral, or life-threatening to you, then it's the biggest lesson you're learning about yourself. That the same behavior, instead na maiinis ka, matatawa ka na lang. Kasi bakit? You've healed yourself from the internal point of view.
Thank you, Coach. Sige, Jasmine.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say thank you guys for that role play. Kasi alam nyo, napakadaling malos talaga in terms of basic communication or just being civil with each other kapag may concerns tayo or worries tayo. You know, it doesn't matter if it's in a business perspective, kung nasa trabaho tayo, nakikipag-usap tayo sa isang kliyente na late mag-submit ng whatever it is na document, or even workmate, di ba? Kanina ko pa pinapaprint sa kanya, kanina pa. But we forget to ask, hey, I asked you to print this kanina, but may I ask, like, what's going on? Bakit na late? Bakit may problema ba? You know, I that's something I practice with the people I work with, lalo na dito sa bahay. Simple as the people na, if you have anyone at home that, kunwari, kung may driver kayo or meron kayong kasambahay, kung minsan napapansin niyo yung kasambahay niyo sluggish, or di kaya meron kayong staff sa office or co-worker or whatever it is, di ba? Napapansin niyo parang hindi sila today. Parang there's something going on with them today. Rather than judge them na ayun na naman siya, ay nako, late na naman siya, and ganyan na naman. Ay, si ganyan, laging ganyan yan, and then chismis, and then it creates distance, and then it creates negative energy in the workplace or at home. You ask the person, oh, so napapansin ko kasi ganito ka, no, para naman I don't feel bad, or ay hindi ko ma-misunderstand if meron kang pinagdadaanan. And then kung ayaw man i-share sa'yo kasi that's also something difficult to respect or to understand sometimes. And I think that's the part now I want to ask lang siguro for you guys. What if someone is not comfortable sharing? Kunwari, tinanong ka ng boss mo, oh, Jazz, tanungin ako ng GNA, bakit parang ayaw mo magtrabaho or bakit parang lamya-lamya mo sa mga kausap mong kliyente or hindi ka mukhang whatever, hindi ka mukhang happy, what do you say? Or if you're working in an office setting, how do you tell your boss, I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable sharing it? What can you say? Or ano dapat yung gawin natin para din ma-meet yung expectation on the other side without not saying anything? Or
Perfect, because may question din dito, when is the right time?
Okay. So if it's a work related and the behavior is affecting the result that we want to create, okay? Me being the boss, I would always go to my usual question. Number one, Jazz, are you open for feedback? Role playing tayo, okay lang ba? Jazz, are you open for feedback?
Okay po, boss.
Yeah. First things first, no, I appreciate you for showing up, and the feedback I'm gonna give you is I just feel something's bothering you. This is not the usual Jazz that I see, and because of this behavior that's showing up here at work, it might affect the project that we're working on. So, do you wanna handle this? Do you wanna be supported by being in conversation with me around this?
Ako lang, boss, I just don't feel comfortable na i-share kung ano talaga yung nangyayari sa akin, but I don't want to.
Naputol to eh. Papasok ulit ako. Kakabalik lang ng internet.
Ask you to do 10 jumping jacks, we'd say, I'm excited to work, 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 I'm excited to work. Even if your language saying I'm not excited to work, your body is moving forward. That's how powerful physical movement is all about. I mean, I was telling them, Yani, remember, 2,000 people, you were there as my PA, and they wanted me to do something, and I don't want. It's just I'm in contract. I just said, okay, just give me 10 minutes, set aside, and I started doing my routine. And when I get back, ready to rock and roll, as if walang nangyari.
Yes.
Did that answer your question, Jazz?
Yes, coach. I agree with that also. Kasi it's a matter of also kind of building yourself. It's not a fake it till you make it. It's more of like you're trying to encourage yourself to also believe in that so that you can work towards believing in it. And hindi naman sa your not acknowledging na you might have some negative feelings, pero it's just being aware na meron, okay, but I want to focus on this and I want to make sure na I get through the day and I do my work and I earn money and I get home and I spend that money on my family and kung ano yung makakapag-secure sa akin para I'm happy and I'm not worried about my loved ones or myself or etc etc, and then you can focus on other things, on your friends, on your passion, on your hobbies, diba? And
I would always look at them and say, this is God's major gift for me, so I can expand myself and be better and use this to move me to my next level, versus focusing on the person and making that person feel angry as well. I want to expand and grow to really see how I can start creating what I truly want in this lesson that I have. So Harley, that professor is giving you your most